How many of you come from a cyber security background? How many of you come from a containers background? How many of you come from a cloud background? Come on. All right. I just want to quickly introduce ourselves, but quickly for 10 minutes. I know most of you would know this particular domain, but containers have become the center corner of digital transformation. You have certainly been told. The fact of the life is most of the organizations who are sort of cloud first, moving their monolithic applications into way containers are becoming vital. But on the one hand side, containers are becoming impacted. Suddenly, we also started to see it has become the most attractive thought process for most of the adversaries. And give me a benefit of doubt, I've seen all of it. I mean, especially during the SOC operations, I used to see advanced persistent threats, zero-day attacks, which nobody would even do. We used to think that we have done everything from perimeter to application to middleware to data, intelligence, IPS, firewall, whatever you can think of, but then still would get impacted. Very relevant in the containers environment because it creates a new threat landscape. It creates new attack vectors. With that background, I just want to bring a very business conversation to you. So let's see the big picture first and where is this particular market. I represent New Vector, which was acquired by SUSE. Can we go to the next one? Very high level, just next one. No. Yeah, just go to the next slide. I run New Vector as a business on product services pieces for Asia Pacific, Japan, and China. I've been in Singapore for about 17 years. New Vector was acquired by SUSE way back in 2021. The good part about this organization, because our DNA is open source, we fundamentally believe in it. New Vector was a closed community. It was a proprietary vendor. The first thing we did, we made this organization code-based open source. It suits us. That's what we do. It was a very small organization with a few hundred customers here and there. The impact was the moment we made it to the community, suddenly the government, the military, the law enforcement started to trust us. We have in 500 plus customers globally right now. And you can think of any financial, government, manufacturing, most of the but that's not the part of the conversation. Just wanted to give you a flavor. Next slide. Here are some of the patents we have acquired. We will talk about that. I'll just give you a flavor when we go into it. These are some marketing bullshit we are hearing from the market, but in a very summarized manner, what we are trying to say is containers have started to become center corner of the entire digital transformation. All sort of, in fact, I was in Philippines last week. We were talking to one of the largest bank of the Philippines, and they were behind the Bangladesh cyber attacks. They were the victims. About 65% of their container, their services have moved into containerized environment. In fact, the board of directors said, we have been thinking about container security even before we embarked on containerization. All the microservices talk to each other through REST API. I have no freaking idea who has what access and so forth, but how they get into containers and scale. And hence they embark on container security before they get into containers. Basically, I'm trying to say it's no more a technical jargon. It has become a business level conversation. Next slide. The question is, security is not, it's been there. And Ajay, you've been in the cybersecurity space for a while. I'm sure you would have seen those antivirus, firewall, VPN, IPS, IDS, you name anything, in cybersecurity, in order to look good. Use technical jargons, but fundamentally it's the same thing. The question here is, if cyber security has been there for 20, 25 years, why those products and capabilities cannot manage containers? Any guessworks? So I just want to bring that particular conversation because I think there is an old saying, if you don't know where to go, any road will take you. I mean, if I keep talking about container security, what is in it that my traditional security products doesn't do that I need to have container security? Let's look at what are the concerns. As I said, suddenly when you automate your CI/CD pipeline, you your monolithic application to microservices. Suddenly you open a new threat landscape. Suddenly the container environment has started to see new kind of malware. I'm sure you would have read about 2 weeks back, new malware called cryptojacking suddenly has started hitting all the banking and telco environment. It's a new malware which nobody could even think of. Old variant, but suddenly read about it, you realize that. Movement you go into containerized environment, new threats, not ready for it. Suddenly new malwares, suddenly privilege escalation. I was giving an example to Shashi sometime back. There is one of the largest fintech in the world, which moved into containerization. Suddenly realized something is going wrong in my network. They had some scanners here and there. One of the vendor did a POC. They realized the network, the infrastructure had a very unique behavior. Between 12 to 12:03 in the night, there was a blackout time. The malware took a control of one of the pod and started elevating the privileges. The SIs of the world, the whole lot of security portfolio they had, it was primarily focused towards north-south. Nobody was looking at east-west traffic. And guess what? Between 12 to 12:03, that malware understood the behavior of that, started to exfiltrate the PII into the community. And for 17 months, this particular organization had no freaking idea what was happening. One fine day when they realized 70 GB of data was in the open. So these are some of the thought process we started to see in containerized environments, which technically is not very easy for the traditional security products to, It's like this is what I was talking. You see, how many of you know Kubernetes? Come on, don't say, come on. Out. It has made everybody's life. It automates the container management. It helps us to orchestrate the containers. That's the fundamental way why we use Kubernetes, right? It has made everybody's life fantastic. Most of the professionals who are sitting in this organization, in this room, would agree to my point. Everybody on this earth, from a security perspective, have done a great job as far as north-south is concerned. But the moment Kubernetes has its own unique problem. It comes with its own network topology, processes, file systems. Very difficult to understand how one pod is talking to another pod. How are they invoking the processes? That's the problem. That's where your traditional security is, as I explained. Next. Not that these cybersecurity professionals have done a bad job. We learned, we understood this a couple of years back. To take control of the issues coming up in the containerized environment, we embarked on standards. Right? Vulnerability scanning. It was a great conversation 2-3 years back, but in my opinion, today there's a problem. The typical scanner works in a methodology that you have a problem, some vendor will pick it up as a CVE, put it as a part of the product itself. Product will do the scanning and find out those vulnerabilities and somebody will fix it. It's a very reactive in nature. I mean, think about COVID. Before COVID, nobody knew what is COVID. And suddenly somebody found the variant of COVID, vaccine of COVID. Now variation, somebody keeps picking up. Same way, scanner works in the same way. So what about zero? What about the variant which was never found before? What about the CVEs which were not found? Zero-day attacks, advanced persistence. That's where most of the scanners. More importantly, what about your runtime environment? So that's the problem we solve as Minh. I'm sorry I took a bit of a time, primarily because I thought it's a mix of the crowd. I thought I'd just give a business thought process before I come back to thumb testing what we do as a product vendor. So next slide, please. And that's exactly the solve. Next. I swear I'm not going to kill you with the feature functionality. That's not the purpose of today's conversation. I just wanted to give you a flavor. Keep. Yeah. Okay. I would have taken at least 55 minutes and sing and dance with the feature functionality, but that's not the point. This is what Nguyen does. On the left-hand side, we call it supply chain security capabilities. Essentially, that's scanning. And every vendor on this earth would do the similar kind of thing, what we do. I mean, it's a debatable topic. I'm better than somebody else. I agree with you like that. But then essentially everybody does the scanning primarily for the vulnerability around the pipeline, CI/CD pipeline, platform, Kubernetes, registry, private, public. Any vulnerabilities? Actually, that reminds me. I was in Beijing 3 weeks back. We found a very interesting use case. He said, I had a registry, which is my private registry, but I have an authentication layer on top of it. Somebody did a social media. I didn't have a 2FA, whatever, and I had a reverse proxy, which technically means anybody sitting behind that, if I steal my user ID and password, so some adversary understood my infrastructure. He created a social engineering and poisoned my container. And every time a developer download our container image, whatever microservices it creates, it's automatically poisoned. Imagine the kind of use cases which are coming up, So new vector can look at the registry, what are the vulnerabilities, and flag it off, and other people can. But the real part is our differentiator, and what we do very differently is runtime. At a very high level, what it does is it creates a behavior analysis. I understand your network topology, the process, the systems, and I create a baseline. If in case next time any activity which is happening, if it is not meeting my baseline, I flag it. Technically, I create a zero trust. Again, very high level overview. It's a very robust platform. What we sort of have created a couple of years back. I'll pause here. Any specific question, but before that, we're not an agent-based architecture. We're not a sidecar. It's a container within the container to protect your containers. It's a very, very simple architecture, robust product. Yeah, any questions? Okay, what we'll do is just to share with you what I talked about. How does it look like in real sense? We'll just give you a flavor. We'll show you in the form of some sort of, not demo, I would call it a demo.
Yep, I don't think it's a demo. It's more of a showcase of our web console to let everybody get a glimpse on what we are able to do. So as what Pawan has mentioned, if for us to go through a full demo, it's going to take 1 hour or something. So it's more like trying to let everybody see what our console looks like and what are the key things that we are able to do. So, Pawan, any other last words before?
I was very reluctant in sharing this slide also, but then I realized, I need to earn my lunch as well. So might as well just, so sorry about that. That was not the objective, but it was improper.
Okay, so let me continue. So this is the web console of NewVector. Let me go in. So the first thing that you see when you go into the web console is the dashboard. And in one glance, right, you will be able to see in general, what is the score of the cluster? So 51 is poor. So the lower the number, the better it is. This is a demo environment. I did not set it out to secure the environment, which is why you see a poor score. But you can see from here, in one glance, you will be able to see all the key aspects with regards to security on the dashboard. The ingress, egress exposure, if I scroll down more, critical runtime security events. I just set it up this afternoon, which is why nothing much is shown up over here. The top security events, amongst other things. I think, okay. Okay, yeah, thanks. And the top vulnerable ports and nodes. So one glance, you will be able to catch a glimpse of what's happening from a security angle in your cluster. Okay, so the key thing about container security is not just about securing your container. It's about securing, first and foremost, the supply chain. After that, you need to secure your Kubernetes platform and whatever that's running on top of it, that is your pods, your containers, as well as the stuff that's below it. That's your node and your operating system provisioning on the node itself. So you can see from here, every single asset along the way, from development to deployment, is shown here within the asset. So we categorize it into different kind of asset. So first and foremost, you can go into platform. You can see that this is the platform that this particular cluster is currently running on top of. RKE2, which is our own distribution. Namespace. So in one glance, you will be able to see every single namespace, total workload, total the details on the namespace itself. And then you can go to the nodes. So this is where you will be able to see what is the operating system that has been deployed. And on the node itself, is there any compliance issue? Or is there any vulnerabilities? So everything easily on the dashboard for you to check it out. Next, you will have the containers. So this is the key asset on Kubernetes, right? And you can go into every single aspect of the container also. For this particular container, you can check out the container detail. You can see the compliance issue, whether there's any compliance issue. So let me scroll down to the bottom of all the containers over here. So I just deploy a WordPress application. So for demo purposes, which is why there are a lot of compliance issue and vulnerabilities, just to let you see, what if your environment is not secure enough, then what are the things that you are expected to see? Registry. So the new vector has a hook to both the public registry or the private registry, on-prem or the public cloud, depending on you. I did not set up anything, but all you need to do is to add a registry, and then boom, you will be able to scan all the images in the registry. And what else over here? Okay, so generally nothing much for these two. So these are the key assets that new vector is out to secure. And from a policy angle, this is where you are able to do things like emission control to ensure that only those things that you think are good enough, are secure enough, get deployed onto the cluster itself. So you can add your own emission control rules. So there's an add button over here. You can click on this. And then you can see that there are many criteria that you can of the box for you to choose. And then you just need to add the rule and then let new vector work the magic for you. We will only allow those things or deny anything that you want or do not want to be deployed onto the cluster itself. And the next thing is going to be something very interesting called groups. Every single pod that has been deployed onto Kubernetes, onto the cluster itself, with new vector installed or deployed. Every time you deploy something new, new vector will be able to know that something has been deployed and then build its rules around it. So this is what Pawan has mentioned, the zero trust thing from a behavior standpoint. So let me again scroll down to the bottom. WordPress. Again, let me do a filter so that you are able to see the category better at the bottom. So you can see the members, things like process profile rules. So once I deploy this WordPress application, new vector is smart enough to learn all the rules from a process point of view, from a file access point of view. So there's no file access for this particular application, so nothing over here, as well as the network rules. So this is the magic of new vector. After learning all the process, it is able to build a baseline by whitelisting the process. And then if anything happens outside of the baseline, you can either set new vector to block it, or you can set new vector to send you an alarm or an alert whenever something outside of the baseline happened within the cluster itself, or within, for this case, within this particular container. So we have something called deep packet inspection, whereby we are able to understand. Please.
When you deploy to AWS, you use a wizard for scripting to create your Kubernetes nodes, and a lot of the underlying management is hidden away. Does this tool, is it able to
Understand
all of these things if they have the right permissions on the AWS or other cloud platform?
There shouldn't be any issue. So for example, this cluster is being deployed on top of AWS EC2. So you are able to see every single aspect of it. So as I'm saying, new vector comes with a patented technology called deep packet inspection. It is able to understand layer 7 protocol as well as the payload. So it is able to inspect the payload such that, for example, when there's a DLP or there's a WEF, we can set rules around it so that whenever this kind of attack happens, new vector is smart enough to understand, these are things that shouldn't be happening within the cluster itself. So basically, groups is where you will be able to set micro segmentation on your container workload, such that, as what Pawan has mentioned, everybody is doing the north-south traffic, protecting the north-south traffic by building the perimeter around it. Everybody is doing that very well by now. So the key thing to secure for container platform is to ensure that the east-west traffic gets secure. And the best way to do it is to have a platform whereby you are able to set the rules around it, whereby the platform is smart enough to learn all the rules around it immediately, so that it's easy for you to set rules for every single container that's running within Kubernetes. So this is our key value proposition. And as usual, right, whenever new vector have any issue, so what are the things that you can do other than sending an alert and blocking it all together? So the other thing that you can do is to set a response rule so that you can quarantine the pod. And after you quarantine the pod, it buys you time to check out the logs to find out more about the attack, so that you can have a root cause analysis of it. So a couple of other things that I may want to show you. So firstly, there is a mode over here. So this is the one that whereby you can switch between discover mode. So discover mode is whereby new vector is learning new rules, or you can set to monitor mode after you are happy with what new vector has learned. So that during monitor mode, if anything happen outside of the norm, new vector is going to set it to you. Or you can set it to protect mode, whereby if something happen outside of the norm, then the traffic will be blocked altogether. Another thing that I want to point to you is there is this thing over here called export group policy or import group policy. So this is where you're able to make use of security as a code, because new vector is able to pop all the security rules around this cluster, export it into a YAML manifest, so that you will be able to take the manifest and then apply it to any other cluster that you want to. Hey, why are you asking me a question?
I think I just want to take 30 seconds on this. Security as a code, especially for the developers. Think about it. If you're creating security policy for one cluster or one environment, and then you have to create the security for another cluster and the other, it's a manual process. And nobody wants to build everything from scratch. So what this particular product can do is, it learns the behavior, it creates the security, it gives you in the form of chart. You don't need to write the code. You use it while you're building the application, you can make it as a part of the security. It makes your life easy. You are happy, your ops is happy, your security is happy. Literally, it can help you to have shift left thought process. Just as well.
So this is the difference between a technical guy versus a business guy. Yeah, technical guy is talking about all the details, right? And business guy is talking about the overview and then put everything into context. So thanks, Pawan, for putting this across in a easier to absorb manner. So okay, I think we are almost up. Our time is almost up. So one last thing that I want to show everybody. So this is where we are able to, just now Pawan mentioned that Kubernetes, while it's great, it is abstracting away a lot of details away from the users. So it's very difficult for you to track things like network traffic, amongst other things. So what NeuVector is able to do is it is able to understand all the traffic that's happening within the cluster and then plot out a network topology for you. So you can even go into any of these, this pod and then do things like capturing of the traffic. So there are many other things that NeuVector can do. What I'm presenting today is just an overview of the console of the platform. Things like setting rules, things like response rules, as well as other things, right? I have yet to really showcase them. So if you have interest, you are interested in this product, so probably you can reach out to us and we can go through a more detailed demo on what NeuVector is able to do. So I think with this, any question? Please.
Extract the security rules and then set help chart and then provide it another class.
Yes.
Right? So I just want to understand a basic level. They say we are setting up this kind of a runtime environment and then getting to run this speed any resource traffic, speed monitor. So are you using any kind of CIDs which you be created and using it, or are you using standard network policies or controllers, all this?
That is a very good point. So we are using CRD. Yeah, that's the short answer. Yes. Yeah.
So it is actually comprised as part of the this instinct.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
So I think like have a maintenance and it's not like something so how is software? How it's
So this we deploy NeuVector in the form. So as I mentioned, containers on top of containers.
So if you are running this, how does it disclose we essentially or services discovery?
So good question. We make use of Linux technology. So it's more of an end user technology, whereby for NeuVector they are making use of things like things like reverse shell, privilege escalation to understand the behavior within every single container. So from there, once it is able to understand every single behavior within the container, then it will be able to build the baseline dependency. Yeah. So nothing especially intrusive. We understand that there are other technologies like EDPM that is able to go into the kernel level and understand the traffic. Now for EDPM, I think that while it's good, it's a very good technology. But the problem is for something to happen within the kernel, it shows that the action has already happened. So for NeuVector, our value proposition is such that we want to prevent the action from taking place by blocking it from network. So another question. So generally for NeuVector, the way that we design is such that we have different components. So we do not want to deploy NeuVector in form of agent, because agent, that means that every single node is going to have an agent, and every single agent is going to talk to the API, to API. So that is not the most efficient way of deploying NeuVector. Rather than that, we have different products. So we have something like controller. So controller for each API we need to deploy three. So that is the one that is going to talk to the API on behalf of who we have the other than that, it's important. So that is one that is going to stand for all of the API or minus. So the key is controller. So controller is going to sit at the virtual order level, understand how it can be the virtual order. So that is to understand from that would be one of the concepts.
Basically, it is deployed as four containers. Those four containers, so the magic is done by one of the container called enforcer. Maybe you can take it offline, put into it. How does it look at the traffic? what are the different components like virtual switch, which literally looks at the network going into the, cluster itself. You are fitting into what happened inside the cluster.
So any other question? To the right.
Question is, how do you deal with scalability issues? I mean, when I say scalability, not in terms of performance, rather in terms of imagine a scenario where there's a compromise and the persistent thread is in a position where they wanted to achieve an end goal, and for the end goal, let's say there are 10 steps, and for each step they deploy a container, they perform an action, distress the container within a matter of seconds. Now you have an environment where random containers are popping up, random actions are going on, and then they disappear within seconds. Have you seen something like this? So like how do you deal with?
Well, this is a very unique kind of attack. So generally, I don't think we have encountered something like this. But for new vector, because it is able to understand the behavior of every single container, so if something happens outside of the container, before the first container is able to be spawned out of the form, right, new vector is able to drop that container. So generally, if you set all the rules properly, then I think the scenario that you needed might not happen in the first place.
I understand, but more trying to imply that your behavior analysis depends on some sort of a rules where it classifies that this behavior is right.
Yes.
But my point is like if I can divide my behavior into parts, run part into different more granular, and I've seen something that
I think for this kind of attack, probably we might need to take it offline to discuss further. Or Pawan, you are ready to add on this?
I understand what he's saying is because containers are ephemeral in nature. You could have hundreds of containers, and you could make the traffic or the behavior of each of the containers is such that multiple containers behave in one particular manner. So how do you collect the behavior of different containers, and how do you create the pattern? I hear you. That's a very unique scenario. We don't have an answer. We can Good point.
Oh my God.
Ruby or is it JavaScript? Can you have one use case for to extend the capabilities by using scripting language? I'm not sure whether it is JavaScript or Ruby, but one of the slides in the section. example, how you can JavaScript code to extend it's
because just how you see the extendability of the NGINX class, right? Okay, so so you have experience with NGINX before? Okay, so you know the NGINX started at just one config file, right? Then after that, it's up to you how you want to structure your configuration. There are different parts, and then you can just import that config part into your NGINX main config file, as in you define the config, as in the different function from a separate file, and after that, you call that file from NGINX config file. So the same thing here. So when you use JavaScript, we have a lot of example online. We have like the whole Git repo that giving you some NGINX example that for you to refer to of how to extend the functionality of NGINX Plus. But to simplify it is you will write your NGINX, you will write the JavaScript into functions. It's normally you pass in parameters. Then after that, from the main config file, you import that file. And once you import a file, it means the functions are available for you to use. So you just call it from your main config file. So there are some simple examples. What type of functionality can we extend is companies will have the need to, let's say, they want to extract certain information from the request header. And it's really depends on your business logic. Sometimes they want to keep it, sometimes they want to pass it to for security purpose processing. So in this way, they have their custom logic. So they have to write a JavaScript and follow their logic, and after that, just call it from NGINX config file. Yeah, so that's the use case, common use case.
Yeah, that really help in implementing, I would say, kind of complex use cases, meaning that I have some data from the application and I want to find data against an external server or some resource, then I have to JavaScript because you could import your Node.js library if you can, or write a full entire JavaScript and then you specifically. So we need those uses banking for authorization, with develop against an IDE and validation. Okay.
One is mention about the so all the things that can achieve by using service mesh, right? So what is the service mesh ratio? So how do we differentiate the against the your service mesh? What is the one is the or
service mesh you are using to manage the north-south traffic and the east-west traffic as well. So for this NDOS organization, currently we are only handling north-south traffic, as in traffic coming into the Kubernetes cluster. So we don't have communication for them.
I will just add one comment to that. The fact is we have heard a lot of customers complaining about the usage of service mesh, the complexity, life cycle, and oftentimes the capabilities that customers are looking for are the simple one that NGINX provides, the bibliographic ability, MTL, to the service and things like that. So that's why we usually talk about those capabilities and not really push into using service mesh. Okay. Yeah. So there is a good discussion or on service mesh and those benefits. So maybe time. We can comment on these new directions. CICF has started the project last November, and we one for API. And then another implementation that we call Genetic Recovery, which is open source in our community. And the aim is to overcome what's the limitations or problems that are facing with traditional service meshes.
All right, we can take one more question. Anybody has any last question? All right, if there is nothing, we'll end it here. Thank you, Minh. I'll give a round of applause for Minh. All right, so we will be starting our quiz as usual, and we will be selecting 10 winners. The first two would get Core Cloud 6-month subscription, and remaining 8 will get a plushie and a pulley from NGINX and SUSE. And I hope the audience on live are hearing. So you guys can also participate in this, but you'll be eligible only for Code Cloud subscription if you are in top 2. I will share my entire screen. My bad. I have to share. Okay. So scan this QR code. This QR code will take you to the quiz page. So there will be 10 questions, multiple choice. You have 20 seconds to answer each question. Okay. Now we have enabled this in guest mode. So the top 2 winners who would be, please register your email address with us. If you don't, then we don't guarantee that we can send you the Code Cloud subscription. Okay. The reason being, one of my event, it happened, I said, give the email address. The guy was in a rush. He came back after 1 month asking me for the swag. So you understand, right? It's very difficult to keep a track of that. So please. So is everybody connected? So I'll start the quiz. No, it should not ask. It's a guest mode. Yeah, I haven't started yet. You should be there. Okay. Now I'll start the quiz. Then it should start. Everybody should be on the same page where it asks you for a code. Okay. 10 questions, 20 seconds each. Start quiz now. Okay. First question. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 should be on a screen. Sorry? Okay, I will not move on to the next question. Okay, I think maybe some. All right. Now what do you see, guys?
Question is already in progress. You can take part. The next question.
Okay, fine. So the first question, I'm sorry, maybe we can skip it from second question. You can start. Yeah. Yeah, you guys can see the question now. All right. What kind of environment can new vector secure? There are 4 options. Container environment, virtual environment, end-to-end IT environment, all of the above. Containerized environment. Okay. Move on to next question. Which container orchestration platform can new vector be deployed on top of? Kubernetes only, OpenShift only, Docker Swarm only, or all of the above? Two, one. All of the above. Next question coming in 4, 3, 2, 1. Should be on a screen. What are the key aspects in securing a containerized environment? Supply chain security, runtime security, both supply chain security and runtime security, none of the above. Both supply chain and runtime security. What is the unique capability of new vector? Oh, it's too long. I'll go with all of above. But no, see the options. All right, all of the above. I didn't know the answer. Okay, it was just a guess from myself. Sixth question coming in 1 second on your screen. Which of the following metric is provided by NGINX plus Ingress controller in real time? Now we are moving on to NGINX questions. Memory usage, disk space utilization, CPU temperature, number of active connections, network latency. Network latency. That's good. So Hemant is leading. Sebastianus is leading. Okay. Anu. Okay. Oh, it's you. I thought you cannot participate. Okay, 7th question. Which load balancing method is exclusive to NGINX plus Ingress controller? Least connection, IP hash, sticky cookie, round robin, weighted round robin. The last one is tongue twister, weighted round robin. All right. Scoreboard. Anu just went up. Okay. Interesting. We have 3 more questions to go. What is the primary purpose of active health checks in NGINX plus Ingress controller? To monitor resource utilization, detect configuration errors, verify availability and responsibility of backend services, analyze traffic pattern, optimize load balancing, or to enforce security policy and block malicious request? That's too big. And the answer is to verify availability and responsiveness of backend services. Right. 10 people have given the right answer. All right, ninth question. In NGINX plus Ingress control, what is the key benefit of utilizing active JWT validation? These are the 5 options you can see on the screen. All right. Anu is really fighting. Okay. Now, this is the last question. What advantages NGINX plus dynamic reconfiguration provide, particularly for application with long-lived connection or handling large volume of client request? Minimize downtime during configuration changes, 14 participants. And we have the top 10, Dinesh, Sebastian, Adriel Tan, Adriel. Okay. It's okay. Mangtong Wushu, WS8N, Anu, Thiom, Karthikeyan, Deepak. Okay, for fun. Nice. Did I do? Oh, God. All right. So I would like to call Dinesh. Dinesh. Okay. And you should see your email address to us later. Okay. So you get the photo.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Sebastian. All right. All right. Adriel. Adriel Tan, you are out of the class. You will also be in our class. I should probably go. Pan Tong Wushu. Oh yeah. WS8N. Okay. Anu. Good, you fought, but you are not answer. Thiom. Oh, all right. Karthikeyan. All right, Deepak and for fun. Deepak,
Hello, can you hear me?
I think it's online. All right, so. All right, Deepak, I'm sorry, but these are physical swags. We are unable to ship it to you. So we have to move on to for fun. And since we have Deepak was online and we cannot, unfortunately, we would not be give this swag to him. Sorry, Deepak. Better luck next time. We'll move on to the next one. Gerald Young. Gerald Young. And that's it for today. And thank you very much, guys, for coming today down for the event. And before we go, I would request you all to please come to the podium. We'll take a group photo. And I would just request everyone before leaving, please help us to have a group photo. We'll take just 2 minutes. And after that, there are some pizza left. So you guys can take another, have pizza, or you can take pizza back home as well. So guys, please come. SUSE team, FI team. Guys, come, please. Guys. Okay. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. Some pizza for that, please, guys. You can have a dinner before going, or you can take the pizza home. Help us prepare it.